All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So, what I'm going to call this podcast is Take the Emotional Hit. Now, I was thinking about this when working out today because I can kind of see a lot of times, and I go through it too, how we all have these ups and downs emotionally, right? When things go really well or are going our way, we're really high and we feel great emotionally. And then on the other end of the spectrum, sometimes we just have horrible days or something horrific has happened to us and we just feel horrible. And, I think no matter who you are going to have, millions of emotional highs and lows. Literally throughout your life. Even throughout the day. It could be even in the morning, how you feel from literally 1 second to the next, how our emotions change, how we can go from good mood, bad mood, kind of whatever mood to, feeling, joyful, then feeling regret, then feeling like we're a burden to somebody, or then feeling like we've been manipulated or lied to, and then hatred, and then love, and all this stuff is going on emotionally. And the one thing I'll just tell you kind of what I've learned to do with dealing with my emotions, because I always had anger. To this day, I have no idea why I had all this anger, even growing up. But it led me to have a lot of drive to get me to where I wanted to be. Regarding anything, I just kind of flipped it. It's kind of like, I think it's an athlete's type of thing. Or just growing up as an athlete, I would even make up things in my head that the other team or the other opponent was saying or doing something. I just wanted to destroy. I just wanted to kind of just go to war with anything that I wanted to accomplish. Which, when you're kind of always on that path, that war path, as bad as it is, I think, at certain times, dealing with, anger issues, and then, and even, believe it or not, like if I would be winning, I felt like a machine. But then when I'd lose, let's say in athletics, I'd cry. I would be decimated. I'd be embarrassed. And as I got older, I still was angry a lot. And then after a while, I said, what am I angry about? I even started to look at my life, at how incredible it was. Even going through a lot of ups and downs with having my daughters having health issues, or maybe even going through a divorce, or, even dealing with maybe, work, and then trying to become a filmmaker and failing, and always dealing with rejection and, money issues, ups and downs, even while working a lot and doing all these things. You kind of get in these, this state of mind is like, what am I doing all this for? No matter what, I don't, achieve what I want to achieve. But the reality was I was achieving a lot. I just didn't realize it. But you may be somebody too I'm sorry about that. What I did to really start to get a hold of my emotions, I guess you could say, is really become self-aware. Truly become acknowledging what I'm doing at all times and how I'm behaving. The only problem I will say with that is when you start to really I guess you could say, overdo it when it comes to that self-awareness, is you start being in such control that you almost get confused on how should I behave right now. Like, I'm getting mad, should I yell? And you're like, you're going to kind of sound stupid. But then if I hold it in, am I kind of a pussy? Or do I just say something? Should I say something sarcastic? Or should I just kind of say something nice, even though I'm really pissed off, but I don't want to scare someone else off? Or, you have all these things because you're so self-aware. And that gets just as confusing as not being self-aware and just kind of lashing out and just saying and doing whatever you want to do, which I think a lot of people do that. I still do that. I'm not going to say I don't. But I've become very self-aware. And one thing I used to be able to do, which sounds crazy, I think it was because I was obsessed with comedians and I went and saw so many comedians throughout my life, is one thing I was kind of inappropriate a lot of times, saying crazy off-the-wall shit. And it would aggravate everybody, even including my mother, but a lot of people laughed a lot of times too. But people would say something and I got so good at it, I'd have 3 responses. I'd have kind of a nice response that somebody else may say, and then I had a really inappropriate one, and then I had kind of a funny one that was more clean cut. But they would register in my head. I'd be like, should I say this, this, this? And, I really got good at that. So I was almost programming myself. It was almost like playing off of somebody. And a lot of my friends used to say, stand-up is not for you, like just standing there and doing stand-up, definitely. But if I had a sidekick, because I can play off anybody really well. And the reason I bring that up too is because that would make me feel better. a lot of times. But then I realized, sometimes I'd be saying things that hurt people that I knew was funny. But again, so I'm emotionally saying something and I'm getting a charge out of everybody laughing. And at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I could tell on that person's face I made fun of them. But I make fun of myself all the time, but I really had to come to the realization that words hurt. But back to the emotional ups and downs, taking the hit. You're going to understand that too a lot of times throughout your life, especially you young guys, is you're going to succeed, you're going to fail, but you're going to have all these emotional ups and downs. Sometimes you're going to feel like, I don't even want to go another day. I'm so aggravated, right? Then you're going to have other days again like you're flying on top of the world and you feel unstoppable. No matter what state of mind you are in or what you're kind of feeling emotional, or when you are feeling emotional, I always literally say to myself, especially when I'm feeling down in the dumps, I'm like, you know what? This is just kind of a phase. And that phase can last a long time too. Believe me, when I've had things happen that got drawn out for, it could be, business deals that didn't go well, lawsuits, arguing, fights, all these things that sometimes they just drain you. And they're not just dealing with emotions for a day or two or for an hour or for 15 minutes. This goes on for years. And it's hard to really kind of pick yourself up emotionally because it's almost like you're carrying these anchors of, misery with you. And it's almost like a blanket on top of you. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of that, right? But again, hopefully in life you understand that you're going to get over that. Things are eventually, I believe, and a lot of times, not for everybody, you get through them, right? You just get through them. You don't think you're going to always get through them. But as you go on in life, if you look back, look at all the things you've gone through, even emotionally. And a lot of times how you handle your emotions at certain times is a game changer. It's not only a game changer for yourself, but it's how people respond to you and also the environment that you kind of are in and how everybody reacts. Because you probably know if you have somebody who's very emotional, especially if they're negative, it's almost draining to everybody. It almost becomes misery. And sometimes you may not realize it. You may be that person. You may be somebody who's always dragging someone down or others down. But it's not fair a lot of times to those people. So again, if you're going to take an emotional hit, don't take it out on everybody. Sometimes I get you have to take it out or you want to vent to certain people. It could be your husband, wife, whoever, maybe your kids, maybe coworkers, friends sometimes. But if you're somebody who continuously does that, it's not fair, and it's not fair for someone to do to you either. So that's what I mean by take the emotional hit. And I'm going to wrap up with this, really, with the emotional hits, is I try to look, and it's not a bullshitty thing either. I'm trying to, a lot of times at my age, try to make the best of every situation, enjoy a lot of things throughout my life a lot more than I did before, and enjoy them with others. And I also try to get away from, and believe me, I'm negative sometimes. I think we all are. Sometimes you just hit the wall with that. But when it came to treating other people, I don't care who, old friends, new, even online, social media, I always want to leave a comment or something on a positive note. Even if I meet up with friends for, I don't care if it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee, or my coworkers or people helping me, I just want to inspire people. And even if I'm having a bad day, that doesn't mean that I don't have the right to feel bad that day or anything. But again, that I'll take the hit. But when I'm with them, it's really, one, it's none of their business how I kind of feel. But the other thing is, I want to be someone they want to be around and be fun and learn something from them. And maybe, they can learn something from me. And just enjoy, again, what the environment is at that point in time. Because a lot of us we're in really good positions in our life a lot of times. Now, you may not always be in this financial position you want to be in, but you may be in a great relationship. You may have a great family. But a lot of times people think that a lot of what they don't have is kind of, miserable. And then they kind of take it out on everyone. Like, even if you're a businessman, a lot of times your business may not be doing as well as you wanted, and you kind of take it on in your family, or you don't have the size home you want. You're mad all the time because of that. Or you're mad because you're still renting and you can't afford a home. Or you want a certain type of car and you can't afford it. Or you may have gone through a divorce. All these things. Again, I am going to wrap it up officially with this. We all go through this for the most part. I don't care who you are. Everyone goes through ups and downs. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care who your family is. I don't care what environment you were born into. I don't care if you're poverty a lot of times, which I understand that is extremely hard compared to somebody who's rich. I'm not going to compare the two, but I can assure you a lot of times it's not easy no matter who you are or what environment you're born into, because you have all these other things that you have to deal with throughout your life, and no one goes unscathed. So I'm going to wrap it up there, and yeah, the emotional hit. That's a crazy one. I don't even know if anybody's going to even be interested in listening to this, but I really thought about that at the gym because I've seen so many people, again, coming in and out of the gym, and I could tell some are happy, some are miserable, some are on the phone, some are arguing, some are laughing, and just in a matter of, me looking at all these people and how everybody's behaving different emotionally right in front of me, I'm like, well, I do that throughout the day myself. It's not just all these people, so. Anyways, you got any questions or comments, hit me up at richcelenza.com. I also help men with their confidence and many different things, included wardrobe, fitness, hygiene. Yeah, it's really about helping men to find the woman or women of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce, because I think a lot of men go through a lot of things. Talk about emotions and how to kind of deal with rejection and maybe burdens that they feel, or just being scared to become who they truly want to be. So, yeah. All right. Take care, and I wish everyone the best.